Hey retro fans, welcome to another episode of Retro Gaming Memories. In this episode we're going to take a look at my Sega Mega Drive collection. Now I've got quite a few games, so we're going to have to do this in a few kind of jump cutted sections, because we've got all the games off to the side here, as usual, hiding them off camera. But I'm going to have to do it in sort of 3 waves, I think. So we'll kind of dive right in. These are all UK PAL Mega Drive games. There's no Japanese Mega Drive or Genesis games here. We'll just dive straight in. So starting with an absolute classic that I had on the Amiga back in the day, but I also had it on my Mega Drive at one point, and that is Flashback. Oh, Flashback. Let's get it on camera without the glare, yes. Flashback. Absolute classic. Plays really well on the Mega Drive. The button layout and things makes it a bit easier to play than the Amiga. If you were trying to play it with a joystick and keys and all that kind of stuff. Bringing up the different options and swapping weapons and all that kind of thing was a bit cumbersome. So I actually prefer playing it on this. Graphically, it's not too different. But it's a classic. So right, okay, next up, an arcade classic, Afterburner 2. Really nice arcade port, plays really well. It's a cracking port. Not much you can say really, is there? Right, let's start at this end. A nice little sort of shootery, platformy thing. Don't know how you would describe it, but Alicia Dragoon. It's a really nice little game. You can summon dragons and all sorts of things and different things to help you, sort of spirit guides almost. Pretty funky game. I remember renting that back in the day and quite enjoying it. And I thought I need to kind of add it to the collection. Next up is a sport game. Now, in real life, I don't really like sports. I don't follow football or anything like that. I've played golf on occasion, and I quite like darts and snooker. Kind of sports that you don't have to run about. Playing sports games on video games consoles, it never really appealed to me. I'm not one of these guys that buys every iteration of FIFA and all that kind of stuff. But Arnold Palmer's Tournament Golf. I love this. Now I remember buying this. I had leaderboard and all that back in the day on the Amstrad and such. But I remember buying this. Now I can't remember the year, 91, 92 maybe. But I had got some money for Christmas, as was the thing back in the day, and I got the bus into the centre of Edinburgh, into the town, and went to Dixon's on Princes Street. Actually, I had a little tour that I used to do round Princes Street. I used to go to Virgin, HMV, Dixon's, John Menzies, Boots, Electronics Boutique, sort of all the different game shops. And now, God, I don't think any of those are left. Boots is still there, but they don't sell video games. And I think that's about it. I can't remember. Anywho, went to Dixon's. Ended up in Dixon's with my Christmas money. I had looked at various other places at the sales just after Christmas, and there wasn't that much, sort of floating my boat. But I went into Dixon's and they had a sale on, and this was £9.99. It was 30 quid off because it was normally $40. And I remember thinking, oh, bargain. Sometimes I was driven by the price of something rather than what the game actually was. I was really bad for that with the Amstrad stuff. But I actually like the look of this. Now, if you've never played this, there was an arcade game, a Neo Geo game called Neo Turf Masters, which was a really nice kind of motion captured but animated golf game, and it looked very much like this. Or should I say, this looks very much like it. Anyway, when I saw this, I thought, you know what, I used to enjoy playing Neo Turf Masters in the arcade up on Lothian Road in Edinburgh, and I thought that this looks like a bit of fun. And to be honest, it is. I really, still to this day, I enjoy it. It's one of my favourite golf games on a video game system. but it was £9.99, and I had £20, and I bought that, and I bought Ghostbusters, which was also £9.99, and I wish I had kept Ghostbusters. Spoiler alert: I don't have Ghostbusters anymore. I sold it back in the day for about £5 probably, and now it just goes for stupid money on eBay, you know, £60-70. Because I have thought about getting it. It kind of ebbs and flows. It's an alright game, Ghostbusters, but it's not worth £70. So I don't know, maybe one day if I see it cheap as in a bargain, I'll pick it up, just for nostalgia, but yeah. Anywho, next up, a game that I never had back in the day, but I had to buy it because I love the franchise, and that is Batman. Not Batman the movie, just Batman, but based on the movie. My favourite Batman movie, the Michael Keaton one. I love that. Just your standard fare sort of side scrolling beat 'em up. Yeah, I think it's not. Is this one actually by? It's actually by Sega. Yeah, because the stages on it, like there's driving stages, horizontal stages with the Batmobile, which are very similar to the Ocean title that was out on like the Amstrad and Amiga and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest, I've not been far enough through this to hit any of the driving sections yet, because it's quite hard. But a cracking game, and you know, nice big sprites and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, it's a good Batman game. Following in the same vein, Batman Returns. I haven't played this too much, to be honest. Yeah, quite a cool movie, but yeah. Anyway, so this next one is a game that I used to rent back in the day, and I had a bit of nostalgia for. Sometimes I'm surfing eBay and I just think, ooh, what can I look for? You know, my wife does that with Google. Sometimes if she's bored, she'll just think, what can I look up? And I kind of do that sometimes on eBay. Just think, oh, let's just peruse, you know, the Amstrad or Sega Mega Drive or whatever, see what's for sale. Not looking for anything in particular. And this game kind of popped up on the list, and I was like, I remember that game. That was alright. That I quite enjoyed that. Again, it was a rental. Never owned it back in the day. But yeah, and it is Shakan. I think it's Shakan as opposed to Chakan, but he looks like Eddie, the Iron Maiden dude, mascot dude. But yeah, side scroller, fightery thing, platformy beat 'em up thing. Pretty good fun. Can't remember the backstory for it. He's like some undead dude or something. I've no idea. Next up, a game or a collection that I never had back in the day, but I picked this up. I've got a pretty good deal on it. Can't remember how much I paid for it, £20 or something like that, if that. And that is the Classic Collection. So it's 4 games: Gunstar Heroes, Altered Beast, Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, and Flicky. So I had played Altered Beast. Obviously everybody's played Altered Beast. I hadn't played any of the other games, but I bought this primarily because everybody says Gunstar Heroes is one of the best games on the Mega Drive. So I had never played it, and I gave it a go, and yeah, it's pretty damn sweet. It's a really nice game. It's weird coming to it fresh, because I don't have any nostalgia for it, so I was kind of playing it for what it was. And it's a good challenging game. It's not one of my favourite games on the Mega Drive, but it's certainly a cracker. Alex Kidd and Enchanted Castle I had never played. I don't know if that's a port of the Master System version. It's alright. It's certainly no Super Mario or anything like that, but it's alright. And Flicky is a port of an arcade game, Sega arcade game, which is quite good. Kind of cute 'em up. You have to get you're a bird, and you have to get all the little baby birds to follow you. They form a little chain and stop the cats eating you and all that kind of stuff. So it's good fun. But quite a nice compilation to have. Next game, I remember getting this and thinking, oh, I wish I really had a 6-button joypad for this, which I never had back in the day. But the animation and all that in this game is fantastic, and that is Comic Zone. Really nice animation, right from the opening animation. The Sega is hand drawn and all that, and the guy does the Sega, but in the sort of, it's like some Elvis impression. It's quite bizarre, but this is quite cool. Really nice how you can jump between the frames of the comic and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, cracking little game, and it's quite good if you play it with a 6-button joypad, which I now have. Next up is another arcade port conversion. I played this on the Mega Drive before I ever played the arcade, and to be honest, I've not played the arcade game that much. Even with my arcade cabinet, I haven't played it that much. I still play the Mega Drive version. I did have this back in the day on the Amstrad, which I didn't play that much because I didn't really like it, but the Mega Drive port of it, Crackdown, is really good. It's a great, it's not quite arcade perfect, but it's pretty damn close. And it's just a great kind of sort of Gauntlet-esque top-down escape thing strategy. It's hard to explain, but it's a cracking game, and I would thoroughly recommend it. Next up was another virtue of the what shall I search for on eBay. Sometimes I come up against games that I've never heard of before, or maybe heard of but don't know anything about, and certainly didn't have. And one of those is Cyborg Justice. When I saw it came up on eBay, I went on to YouTube and had a little watch of some videos of it, and I thought, it looks alright. It's side scrolling beat 'em up with big robots and cyborgs and things, and you can customise your robots and all that kind of stuff, which is quite cool. I love my side scrolling beat 'em ups, but Cyborg Justice came up, and I thought, I'll take a punt on it. It wasn't expensive, and it's pretty good fun. It survived the cull of last year. I had a big clear out. I had a lot more Mega Drive games, but I had a big clear out of the games room and sold quite a few of them off. But it stayed, it survived. Next up is one of the first full price Mega Drive games that I ever bought, and I remember feeling, I don't know, it's not buyer's remorse, but just guilty at how much money I had spent, because back in the day I didn't earn that much money. I was an apprentice electrician, so I got like £60 a week, so to drop 40 quid on a full price game, I felt quite bad, but at the same time I really enjoyed it. And that game is Desert Strike. Played it on the Mega Drive before the Amiga, so I kind of got used to this one. The Amiga obviously sounds better and looks better, but this is still the one that's kind of close to my heart, and I still love. Great game, and I love the Strike series. They were cracking games. Yeah, another one of the eBay. There's quite a few of these actually. The eBay. Let's have a look and see what's available. My voice is going really funny, sorry if this sounds a bit weird, but yeah, anyway, I remember kind of seeing this in John Menzies, I think, back in the day, and thinking, that looks alright. It's based on a movie. I've never seen the movie, thankfully, because it looks god-awful. The movie's got Warren Beatty and Madonna in it, from what I remember, and it just looks terrible. But the game looks alright and is actually quite good fun, and that is Dick Tracy. Yeah, sort of side-scrolly, shooty thing, but there's different things you can do. You kind of shoot into the screen, and that is... I've not played it that much, but it's what I played I did enjoy, and it's one that I'll need to go back to and spend some more time with it, because it was good fun. Next up is a game based on a movie that I bought because I love the subject of the movie, and that is Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Bruce Lee is one of my ultimate heroes. Him and Jackie Chan are the martial arts gods to me. The Western guys are pretty good, but Bruce Lee, it's just Bruce Lee. Anyway, Dragon. I remember getting this and thinking, holy Christ, it's like fighting Bruce Lee himself, because it's hard as nails. Such a hard game. It's either that or I'm terrible at it, one of the two. I had this across a few platforms back when I had loads of consoles. I had it on the Jaguar, I had it on the SNES, and ultimately got it on the Mega Drive. Yeah, it's quite good. It's really hard though, really hard. But just kind of follows follows the movie, which is alright. So yeah. So next up is Dynamite Duke. Sorry, just had a coughing fit there. Dynamite Duke is next. Absolutely terrible cover art. Now I don't know what this came out on back in the day. If it was based on an arcade game, I'm not sure. I can't remember. But it plays like sort of Cabal, where your character shoots into the screen. There was also a Neo Geo game called, was it Secret Spy, Super Spy, something like that. So I don't know if this was based on the Neo Geo game. But you can kind of see through your character, and you can move him left and right, and he shoots into the screen and all that kind of stuff. Just, oops, trying not to drop it. Just a good fun shooter, if you can excuse the absolutely terrible cover art. I think the Japanese version of the cover art was superb, but it's not. So, following in the footsteps of Arnold Palmer's Golf is another sports game, and that is the EA Sports Doubleheader, featuring EA NFL, it's just EA Hockey before they had the license, and John Madden Football. So I think these were the first iterations, and I got this. I mean, you can get this for like 99 pence or cheaper, but it's quite fun just to have the two sports games. The hockey game is quite good fun, even though I don't really understand the rules of hockey, and the John Madden Football is just a nice early, easy to play football game. Sorry, American football game, whatever. And the good thing about these is that they're not simulations. They're not trying to be. There's enough in them where you kind of you feel engaged with the sport. It's not arcadey, but it's not kind of crazy, knowing lots of stats. You don't have to know what you're doing really. You can pick it up and play. So it's good fun. Good fun. Next up is an arcade conversion, and I remember playing this for the first time in Stevenson College in Edinburgh. In the Students' Union, they had a God, what were they called? It was a Mega Drive arcade machine. Can't remember what it was called, but it basically had you could select your game, and it was just a Mega Drive, but you could select your game and play it in an arcade cabinet. Anyway, that game is eSWAT, based on an arcade game. It was an arcade conversion. Plays a bit like Rolling Thunder meets RoboCop. You kind of start off just as a normal cop, but you can get this enhanced suit with big guns and all that kind of stuff. So it's your standard Shinobi-esque kind of. In fact, you can do the Shinobi thing where you jump between planes. So yeah, it's Rolling Thunder meets RoboCop meets Shinobi. That's three pretty good things rolled into one game. So yeah, eSWAT, good fun. So last up for this little section is a shooter. One that I never had back in the day, but I kind of was searching through videos, I think, on YouTube for sort of best Mega Drive games, and this popped up. And it's really nice. It's sort of steampunk-esque. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And that is Empire of Steel. Just a nice little shooter. I can't remember. I'm sure you can go a blimp or something else. I can't remember if you can go a plane or a blimp. I can't quite remember, but it's a fantastic little shooter, and it has that whole sort of Chaos Engine steampunk vibe about it, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, so anyway, that's it for this first section. Let me put these away, and we'll do a little jump cut. By the magic of YouTube, you don't have to sit and watch me putting all these away, and I'll be back in a second with the rest of them. Okay, here we go with the rest of the games then. First up, Judge Dredd. Based on the movie, hence Stallone's face. Yeah, movie could have been good, but they created the ultimate sin when he took his helmet off. Terrible. So it had good ideas, could have been good. Anyway, this is based on the movie, side-scrolly, shooty, Rolling Thunder thing with some motion capture bits and bobs in it. So yeah, it's alright. It's quite good fun if you like Judge Dredd. Next up, start of a classic series, Road Rash. This was one that I used to rent all the time. I never owned it back in the day. I used to rent it for the video shop all the time, because it was one that kind of held its price. It never ever went down. So yeah, cracking game. Road Rash 2, not much to say, just more of the same, but 2-player head-to-head. I think there was different weapons and things in it, different bikes. Sure, they introduced the cops in that one, can't quite remember. And then thirdly in the series, Road Rash 3. Haven't played this much. This went down the sort of Mortal Kombat, where they had sort of digitised the bikes and stuff, and it looked a bit terrible. So I think it's the weakest of the series. Haven't played it much at all. The unlikely marriage of two classic movies, RoboCop versus Terminator. I love me RoboCop. It's one of my favourite sci-fi schlock movies. It's just brilliant. Apart from RoboCop 3 and the new RoboCop, that's god awful. I'm talking about the original two. Anywho, yeah, so I had to get this because it's got RoboCop in it, and the RoboCop sprite is massive and really good, really well animated. It's a bit bizarre, you're fighting all these Terminators. So, yeah, good kind of side-scrolly, shooty, platformy stuff. Quite hard for what I remember. Next up we have Sonic 3D Flicky's Island. No idea why it's called Flicky's Island. This is no relation to the game we saw earlier called Flicky. I haven't really played this much. It was based on an arcade game, but yeah, all good. Next up, one of the first games I ever got, because it came with the Mega Drive, and that is Mega Games 1. Oh, get rid of the glare. Mega Games 1. Super Hang-On Columns and World Cup Italia 90. Spoken about this a little bit in my earlier Mega Drive video. Italia 90, when you look at the screenshots, looks splendid, looks amazing. You're like, oh my god, look at that, it's fantastic. When you play it, it's a top-down shooter. I was going to say it's a top-down football game, very much like Atari's World Cup or something like that. And when you kick the ball, it sounds like it's burst. It's this really kind of wet. When you kick the ball, it's bizarre. Despite that, I quite enjoy it. It's just a bit of good fun. So yeah, don't judge me. Next up, Mega Games 2. The classic Revenge of Shinobi, Streets of Rage and Golden Axe. What a compilation that is, oh my god. I had Streets of Rage already when I had this back in the day. But I mean, Revenge of Shinobi and Golden Axe, good god. That's one to have. Splendid. Next up, Mega Games 3, featuring Alien Storm, Super Thunderblade and Super Monaco GP. Super Monaco GP is fantastic if you like your Formula 1 games. Had stereo sound, so if you plug your headphones in you could hear what side cars were passing you on and all that kind of stuff. Super Thunderblade is a decent conversion. It's not arcade perfect by any means, but it's a pretty good conversion. Alien Storm, I never really played back in the day. It's alright, it's good fun. Next up is a game most people absolutely despise, and that is Pit Fighter. Yeah, I quite like this. I've got fond memories of me and my pal sitting playing this when we should have been revising for exams and things at school. It's yeah, it's your Atari motion capture video digitized fighters. I think Atari was trying to take on Mortal Kombat and failed spectacularly. But despite that, again, I quite like it. It's good fun. Next up, Predator 2. Great little sort of top-down, semi-isometric, very gritty, running about shooting stuff, finding things, and the Predators chasing you. Quite cool, totally different to the Mega Drive, to the 8 and 16-bit games that were out. Predator 2, they were more like Dynamite Duke, bizarrely, shooting into screen stuff. Next up, Rambo 3. Love this. I used to hire this all the time, and then I eventually bought it and found it cheap. Yeah, just kind of runny, shooty stuff. Using his explosive arrows to blow things up is quite good fun. I love Sylvester Stallone, and you know, Rambo's just a classic. Yeah, great game. Nice bit of variety in the levels and things like that. Next up, following on the Desert Strike, is Jungle Strike. Not played it too much. I played it a little bit back in the day. It's good fun. I'm sure you can get like you can get the stealth bomber and all that kind of stuff, or stealth fighter in it and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you can land and get out and run into motorbikes and things. But yeah, Jungle Strike, all good. Another game that most people hate, Last Battle. I'm sure it was based on Fist of the North Star, but renamed over here. It's quite poor, but I like it. I have nostalgia for it. I can't remember when I played that back in the day, but... Next up, Mercs, a vertical scrolling shooter based on an arcade machine. It's a vertical scrolling shooter with big guns and guys in it. That's all you need to say. It's good fun. I love like Commando and all that kind of stuff. Those were always my favourites. Vertical shooters like Commando and side-scrolling beat 'em ups and things like Shinobi and that were my favourite games in the arcade that I would always go to. So Mercs kind of ticked those boxes. Next up we have a sequel, Golden Axe 2. I haven't played it too much. I was never a huge fan of Golden Axe. I enjoyed it, it was good fun, but I wasn't a huge fan of it or anything like that. And yeah, the artwork on this is quite nice. The thing that really annoys me every time I look at this is how small his sword is. It's like, really? Stupid little thing. It's more like a big knife. You could cut a turkey with that maybe, but yeah. Anyway. And lastly in this section, there's a game that nobody knows how to pronounce. Gainoog, I presume. We'll go with that, Gainoog, that'll do. Yeah, a side-scrolling shooter with fantasy elements. You are War, a winged battle master. Yeah, you can change different elements and things and do different shots. Nice little sort of fantasy shooter thing. Yeah, good fun. Okay, so section 3, here we go. First up, Wrestle War. Nice little arcade wrestling game based on a arcade cabinet. I spoke about this in one of my other Mega Drive videos as well. It's really shoddily edited. The cover artwork in Japan, that's Hulk Hogan's face or a representation thereof. Obviously they ran into licensing issues, and when it was ported over to the sort of European market, I don't know if it was the same in the US, but certainly over in Europe it got changed to this nondescript face. So yeah, just a nice little wrestling game. Next up's Gain Ground. Hard one to describe really. I think it was based on an arcade game as well. Little bit of strategy to it, shooty things. Hard to describe. Good fun though. Check it out on YouTube. Next up is Alien 3. Bizarrely, this game has no title on the spine. And I did check if that was rare or anything, but it's not. It's just they forgot to print Alien on the cover. Bizarre. So yeah, based on the movie, side-scrolly shooty thing, a bit like Judge Dredd, that kind of stuff. Alright. Next up is Strider. Say special collector's edition on it. I have no idea why. There is nothing even remotely special or collector about it. It's just your standard Strider. Yeah, terrible artwork, unlike the Japanese version, but cracking game, hard as nails. Next up is Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, the follow-up clearly to Super Monaco GP, featuring Senna in it. They've sampled his voice and all that kind of stuff, so you do get a little bit of encouragement from him, which is quite nice. Next up is Two Crude Dudes, based again on an arcade game. It's a bit silly. It's huge sprites. I think it was a Data East game. Yeah, it's Data East. Huge sprites, just kind of platformy beat 'em up thing. Yeah, it's kind of terrible, but again, I quite I've got a bit of nostalgia for it. Quite liked it. So next up is the last of the Strike series to come out on the Mega Drive, and that was Urban Strike. Yeah, I haven't played this much at all, to be honest, but I intend to. Next up, Sonic. Don't need to say anything about that whatsoever. It's Sonic. Everybody knows Sonic, surely. Then the sequel, Sonic 2. Spent many happy hours playing Sonic 2. I love the Sonic series, actually. I've never completed them. But yeah, good fun. Sonic 3's up next. Haven't played that much at all. Have I played it at all, in fact? I must have. But yeah. And then we'll go with Sonic and Knuckles. Now this normally comes in a cardboard box, but I printed out a custom little cover thing for it. Thankfully the instruction manual fits. The game cartridge, you have to kind of hack the box a little bit to get it to fit in, but it does fit. You just have to cut the top off the thing. Doesn't quite close properly, but you know, it's better than a cardboard box. Next up is Shadow Dancer, the sequel to Shinobi, or the Secret of Shinobi, but technically secret. The sequel, secret sequel, whatever. It's a follow-up to Shinobi. Yeah. Is it still Joe? Yeah, Joe Musashi. Yeah, but he's got a white suit on instead of a black one this time. And he's got a dog, but it's great. It's still Shinobi. And continuing Shinobi, got Shinobi 3, The Return of the Ninja Master. Haven't played this too much, but what I did play was really nice. There's loads of stuff with, I'm sure there's bits with horses in it. Can't remember. Horse riding sequences. But yeah, pretty cool. Next up, another game that needs no introduction, Streets of Rage. Got this with my Mega Drive back in the day and thought I'd died and gone to heaven because I had an arcade cabinet essentially in my house with Streets of Rage. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And then we have the phenomenal follow-up, Streets of Rage 2. Yeah, just even more of the same. Brilliant, bigger sprites, bit more action to it. It was cracking. I did have Streets of Rage 3, but I was really disappointed in Streets of Rage 3. It looked nice, apart from the weird cyborg doctor guy that was in it. The music was god awful. Absolutely hated it, and it ruined it because you couldn't turn it off. And they had tried to do something really funky with it, because it was sort of procedurally generated and all that, and it was using loops and samples and things. So it was very advanced what they were trying to do. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work. And I don't know if it had issues with it being a 50Hz PAL cartridge on the music, should have ran at 60Hz or something. I don't know, it just didn't work, and it put me off and it ruined it, and thankfully I didn't have any nostalgia for it, and I sold it because I just thought there's no point, I'll never play it. So yeah, so Streets of Rage 3 I did have, but no. Next up we have Speedball 2. Speedball 2, I don't know why I went all high pitched there. I actually managed to get this signed by Mike Montgomery. Well, there we go, the Bitmap Brothers. Met him down in Blackpool, and what a great guy. Had a great chat with him all about this kind of stuff. But yeah, Speedball 2, absolute cracker. Kills your thumbs though, because it's so frantic, but great game. A lot of people prefer the Amiga version. I don't know, I think this is easier to play, but either or, it's a cracking game. And last up, a bit of a random one, Steel Talons. I remember playing this in the arcade, and it had an absolutely huge arcade cabinet. You had two people sat next to each other, but you couldn't see each other. And it had cyclic controls and a proper, joystick for the chopper with fire button on the front and your missiles and all that. And it had pedals and solenoids in the cabinet, so that when you got shot it would actually rattle the side of the cabinet, and it was really noisy. And it was a polygon simulator thing. It was basically hard driving in helicopters. But yeah, great game. The conversion to the Mega Drive is surprisingly, it's pretty good. It runs at a fair clip, and they've got everything in it that was in the arcade game, which is surprising because the tech that they would have needed to run an arcade game was huge. You know, it's proper filled polygons and all that kind of stuff, no wireframe things or anything. So yeah, nice, really nice conversion, and the control scheme is mapped pretty well because it's all there, cyclic and all that kind of stuff is all there, and it all kind of works. So yeah, nice little game. Anyway, that's going to do it because my voice is going really silly, and we've run out of games. That's them all. So yeah, thanks for watching. Leave me some comments if there's anything that you like or want to see more of or anything like that. Or if you want me to play any of these in the sort of Retro Gaming Memories Mini. I need to think of a better name for that. Yeah, so just leave me comments. But usual, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time.